you answer this. This is poetry.
It's cool. Yeah, we're going.
Oh, man.
Hey, how is everybody out there? Welcome to Out of the Darkness. We were wanting to make sure we were not late. It was very important that we did not live up to any stereotypes, guys. So we are here, and we've been working on that. We're working on getting our boomer tech under control. So thankful for that. Thank you guys for being here. I am your host, Q. Again, welcome to Out of the Darkness. I got some really special guests here. I know you can't tell. There is a family resemblance, though. We have Blackface Nick here. So I know you guys always wonder what Nick would look like in blackface. This is him. We also did some facial reconstructive surgery. So he's actually a little bit more handsome than what you would expect as well. And then, of course, most of you guys that were here, you guys have already gotten a chance to meet Justin. He was here last week, but then we have another special guest over here, Rulo. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. You guys won't get a chance to see Justin. He wants to hang out in the back, in the background, and be the tech guy today. So you have the three brothers here. We're going to be talking about some things that are really important to what we are, what we are about. What happened, Justin? What happened to my?
Don't worry.
Sorry, guys. We're having some boomer issues, but we will get it all worked out. So how are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Fantastic?
Good to be here.
All right. So, Nick, you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself? Where are you from?
Not too much. I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to share people on the interwebs. If I say something they don't like, I don't want to have all my personal information exposed. But
yeah. These are all beautiful, excellent people. So, but
very fine.
Okay, but you live in Central Minnesota now.
Central Minnesota.
All right, and just got back. Went to Rutgers. So now that you are done there, back in Central Minnesota, and how are you liking Minnesota? Being here from New Jersey,
it's fabulous. First thing I would say is after spending 3 years on the East Coast, Minnesota nice is definitely a real thing.
Facts.
I have rediscovered my personhood.
Your personhood.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like an individual instead of a herd of livestock. Or part of a herd of livestock. It's crazy out there. There's just so many people out there that you kind of start to lose sight of individuality and such. And so it's nice to walk into like a coffee shop or something and have somebody say good morning, how are you today, and wait for a response. So
right,
it's good to be here.
Yeah, it's totally different in the Midwest, right?
Yeah, it is.
And as far as you go, Rulo, you are back in Minnesota from a long stint in China. So for somebody like yourself who was like a total weeb, what was that like being in Asia for that many years?
It's different. Just realize how big the earth is. A lot different. It's not what you think it is. What you see on TV. There's a lot more people over there. There's a whole lot longer cultures and things and everything over there. It's just different from every aspect that you can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some things in some ways in a good way, and obviously other ways in not such a good way. Squatty potties, not the most ideal way.
Squatty potties.
Squatty potties are like.
What's a squatty potty?
It's like a porcelain hole in the ground. It's like most apartments in China don't have like Western toilets. Western toilets is what we call just toilets. A squatty potty is like, imagine if you like took like the toilet off. There's like that hole in the ground. There's like a porcelain. It's like a porcelain, basically like hole in the ground that you like flush, but you
sit Indian style.
Yes. I mean, my apartment never had that. Nah. But like,
whoa. So you sit on the floor?
No, you don't sit. You hit like the Asian squat, like when like both feet are down.
How is the Asian squat different from?
It's actually the healthiest. It's actually the healthiest way to take a poop. It's scientifically proven the healthiest way to take a poop. It's because you're squatting and your body's at an angle, rather when you're sitting down, your body's slouched. Like You could Google it.
I'm afraid
We can talk if you guys want to get into this. We can talk about
by the end of this this stream. I think we're gonna have you demonstrate for us
the squatty potty, proper squatty potty
proper squatty potty procedure, because like
it's a urinal laid on the ground. Pretty much that's a good way to think about it. But you like it's mainly for taking poops in. So. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So no, maybe we won't have you to
not,
do that.
Probably not.
So yeah. So guys, I'm I look up to Nick. I'm super excited to be here. But I never thought that I would get to the point that I would have haters already. Like, can you believe it? Like, I know they say haters gonna hate.
It just means you're doing something right.
Well, I hope that's what it means.
Why you think Harden got it?
So we've got this this cat. I'm gonna pull it up for you real quick. So yesterday, I was on Twitter and I follow Candace Owens. I know you're not a big fan of Candace Owens, Kevin, but
I didn't say that.
Huh?
I didn't say that.
I know you're not a big fan, but that's fine. It's okay.
How do you know that? Just assume his.
Yeah, I just assume simply because I've met him a time or two, right? So we've had some heated discussions, but we will spare the chat that. So boomers gonna boom. Yeah, I got you. But. So this guy Patrick Gallagher, right? So if you guys know me, you guys know I'm like not really down with the whole socialism thing. So yesterday, Candace Owens put something out, and it was actually a pretty disturbing image, right? So there was a armored vehicle that drove over a crowd of people. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I saw it.
I mean, it was really disturbing to see, right? And what we're seeing is it's amazing to me that in a place that is typically very social, right, and very advanced. I mean, Venezuela. I mean, there are some parts of Venezuela that's a little bit more third world, right? But people that are a civil society for the most part, that in such a short time, things can spiral out of control when the government kind of loses its way, right? Are you following what I'm saying?
I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Well, okay. Anyway, so we'll get into that. Clearly, there's some interesting.
I disagree.
Yeah. So guys, bear with us. I understand that the sound quality is not fantastic. What we are dealing with is we added an extra mic, and so because we added an extra mic, we're trying to make sure that we have all of the we're trying to make sure we have all the balances and everything. So just bear with us. Things will get better as we go. So anyway, this Patrick Gallagher cat, I retweeted Candace Owens' video. So he comes out and attacks me, saying that I'm being irresponsible and misleading, and it's BS, and I know it, and my side has to lie. It's sad. And I'm just trying to figure out exactly why. What did I say that was a lie? I mean, I showed a video. It's kind of hard to lie with a video. I mean, the government running over its people with armored vehicles or not? Are the people in Venezuela starving or not? Bottom line is things have deteriorated and gone out of control. So we got into that discussion. So he's not really wanting to hear from me right now. But if you guys get a chance to, it's Patrick Gallagher. I guess he was. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Drop him a follow,
Huh?
Darn.
So
Beehive.
So guys, so if you guys are on, I'm gonna go ahead and reach out to you guys. Anybody who is not currently on the subscribe to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. We appreciate being able to bring some things we want to hear, guys. We want to make sure that we're offering quality streaming here. Obviously, we've got some work to do with our boomer technical issues, but we are trying to get better every single day. So you guys are growing with us, and we really appreciate that. Yesterday, I don't know if you got to catch the stream that we did yesterday, Nick, with the other Nick. Okay, so didn't get a chance to see that, but one of the things we're talking about is this Muhammad Noor. Are you familiar with this case at all? Essentially, you having some being kind of familiar with the legal system as well as you are. I guess to say that to another black dude, like, I don't want anybody. In no way am I saying that he's been in trouble with the law, but yeah. So let me clarify that. But man, it's crazy. I mean, so we've been seeing like a lot of people lately who have been getting assaulted or accosted or shot by the police. So, but it was crazy to see that finally, I mean, I can't remember the last time that one of these high profile. No, I mean, as long as it's working, that's the.
So we are streaming.
All right. All right, Mark.
What?
Let's go. Guys, so we're back. Sorry, I'm not sure exactly what happened with Spectrum Business, but they completely sabotaged our show. So for those of you guys that are still here, thank you so much for sticking it out. We should be okay. They sent us a new signal, and we rebooted the modem, and it looks like we are up and at 'em. So this time it was not our IT guy, his boomer technology or lack thereof of boomer understanding did not do it. So yes, and I know everyone is dying to know what the name of the of the lips are going to be. We will get to that. We do have a winner, so I will unveil the name of the lips. So just hold on just a little bit longer. We want to make sure that everybody that's back is back. Typical black men eating chicken. Wow. We got racism in the chat. Wow.
You have no idea what it's like to be black.
Yeah. Wow. So I'm gonna let that go.
To be fair, everybody likes chicken.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I mean, coming from China, like, there's more chickens killed over there than anything else, right? And there's like 1 billion people there, right? And actually, our very white IT technical guy is over there like chowing down right now on some chicken. So yeah, but
chicken's universal.
anyway, so guys, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. We are dying to get this thing back going, and we are dying to make sure we offer you guys the absolute best program that we can do. Is Sean King black? I don't know. I think we're still trying to figure
I
out.
read that and I was like, that is a loaded question.
That is a loaded question. It is a loaded question. We'll have to get Sean King on the show one day, and we'll have to ask him. Like, I mean, I'm assuming you guys are talking about the Sean King that is on the Black Lives Matter guy, right? Among other things. Yeah. So yeah, I would love to know. So when we find out, you'll find out, because we'll have him on the show. So with that being said, so we were talking about the whole situation with Muhammad Noor, and how of all times for an officer to finally be tried for murder and to be found guilty, first officer in the state of Minnesota to be found guilty for murder. Why this one? So what are the issues surrounding this case that you feel that brought us to an actual conviction?
I mean, are you asking like my personal opinion, or
that's why you're here?
Okay,
I want your personal opinion.
Personally, I think this had more to do with the optics than anything. Especially in Minnesota, you have the idea of Somalians being invaders, or the refugees,
right?
And you have a pretty white lady that was killed at the hand of the Somalis. I mean, both optics there. That's a fair way to use that.
Somebody should have told them Somalis don't kill don't kill white people.
What?
Don't kill white women.
No, that's. I mean, yeah, that's bad form. I think I'd be remiss not to mention that I feel like that adds some part of it. Is that the entire thing? No, because like I was saying before, our internet issue. Facts of this was also different.
Right.
He was the one officer that didn't see who he was shooting. So that could have most definitely played a part of it as well. So I mean, yeah, I'm not surprised to see that this was the first conviction in Minnesota. I would just hope that instead of this turning into a super racial issue, I would hope that it would. Sorry. I would hope that instead of this becoming a super racial issue, that it would start to shine light on the need for more training for officers. Like you and I were talking about yesterday, it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense that you're in a job where you know that you're going to be in danger. You know that there are going to be times where there's going to be times where your life may be on the line, right.
Right.
And that because you have civilians who live their daily lives not fearing that their lives are going to be on the line, it doesn't seem fair that you get to justify killing, in most cases, an innocent unarmed civilian by the reason that I was scared. I was scared of my life. Like it doesn't seem right. It doesn't make sense. So hopefully, our legislators will use this as a wake up call and will either do something about training or more selective practices. I don't know. You didn't bring me in here for my solutions. Just my opinion.
I mean, obviously, we're always going to try to talk about solutions. I mean, so my issue has been this. So I've had. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who said they wanted to come in to the chat, and there might be some of those. I have friends that are on all sides of this, right? I have friends that are heavily into Black Lives Matter. I have some friends that are all about the Blue Lives Matter crowd and how we need to support police officers and all points in between.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Huh?
They're not
But and that's exactly right. I don't feel that they're mutually exclusive. I mean, when people started talking about all lives matter, at the end of the day, I felt like you can't really say that that's not the case. I mean, all lives should matter. I mean, I get why it ticks some people off, all right, but I do understand that all lives should have value. Okay, I think we could all agree with that. The issue that I have is that at the end of the day, when we talk about these shootings, this is not a black thing. This is not a white thing. Okay, this is not a Mexican thing or any of those. This is an over policing issue that we must deal with here and now. Right? I mean, we grew up in the same household, right? I mean, and I tell people all the time, our father and our mother gave us the rundown when you are pulled over. We had an entire class on this at home, right? When you get pulled over, how do you survive the encounter, right? How do we ensure that our children are going to come home, right? But it's gone past the fact that this narrative that it's only black people this happens to is a false narrative, right? There were far more white people that were killed last year than there were black people that were killed last year by the police. Now, am I going to sit here and say and have this argument about, well, you know, there's more white people, so obviously there's more? That's not the argument that we need to have here. That's not the argument that we need to have at this point. The argument we need to have at this point is, why are these people coming in contact with the individuals who are charged to protect and to serve, and why are they not coming home to their families?
Right.
Okay, at an alarming rate. So people say, well, I think
some would call it
wow, shots fired. Shots fired.
that was
Shots fired. Some would call it a national emergency. In other words, we're not even going to go there right now. I promised I was going to be nice. I wasn't going to go in on you today. The problem is we're so new at this thing. If I start going in on my guests too quickly, I'm afraid that before long, they won't come back. So, but with that being said, so this is kind of funny. So you are the youngest of the brothers. So technically, right? So let me ask you. So, explain to the people in the internet sphere, in the interwebs. Tell me, explain to them the rules for engagement that we were taught growing up for how you are to react to the police when you're pulled over.
Yes, sir. No, man. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Utmost respect. No sudden movements. Gotta have your license already out. Come inside of the car. Hands on the steering wheel. You know, every time if you do make a movement, you always tell them about that. Like they asked for the one time I got pulled over, they asked for my insurance, and I had my license out, but my insurance was in the glove compartment, and told the officer my insurance is in the glove compartment. I'm going to reach for my glove compartment and grab my insurance. He said, okay, so officer, at this time, I'm now extending my right hand to open up said glove compartment that I've referenced before to get my insurance out of. I mean, it's things like that. I mean, some people may say it's over the top, but hey, I mean, I'm still here, you know what I'm saying? And it's one of those things that, like, even if a cop is in the wrong of a certain case, a lot of people, it's kind of a different discussion, but a lot of people don't realize that that's not the time to argue with a cop. If a cop did something wrong, that's not the time. Like I remember when we were little, me and Jamie were trying to sell me and my brother were trying to sell these
gold cards.
These gold cards. It's like a fundraiser. And then these cops told us took our gold cards, and they said that we needed a license in order to sell these things for a fundraiser. And we knew that they were wrong. I'm not going to sit there and argue with the cops because that's not the time or the place to do that. So we went home. Told her mother made some phone calls, and next thing you know, whoever ran the police department in that town was at her house apologizing because there was something that was completely wrong. If we would have stood there and argued with them, who knows how that could have ended, you know what I'm saying? So, one of those things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this person said it perfect. It's better to be over the top than to be dead. Facts.
Facts. So, and yeah, we always knew. I remember when I was coming home from a basketball game with some friends of mine. We were all riding home. We stopped at the grocery store at Albertsons in Texas, and so we stopped there. And before we know it, we got the police like pulling me out of the vehicle, out of the Suburban with all my buddies, lining me up, guns drawn, everything, just yelling and everything else, because I fit the description of somebody who had just robbed a store in the same parking lot like 45 minutes later. Now, first off, I wasn't quite sure if I should be more offended over the fact that they had guns drawn on me and were accusing me of being a criminal, or they thought I was so dumb that I was going to sit around for 45 minutes in the same parking lot of the crime. Okay? So anyway, after we made it through all of that, I went home, told Mom what had happened. Mom then drove 30 minutes back to said parking lot, went to the police officer. I showed her who it was. She kicks his door in and absolutely loses it. So
all the kids,
great things, huh?
All the kids.
All the kids in the car, everything. I'm like,
I
I'm going to
that.
jail.
For the record, when I say sometimes it's not the place nor the time, that'd be the perfect example that was not the place nor the time for that confrontation, you know? Perfect example. Perfect example.
So one of the things I had going for me is I knew all I had to do was survive the encounter. Boy, when I got home and told my mama, you gonna get it. Right? So I knew that it was gonna be some hell to pay once I got to the house. But the problem that I had is I think we can all. I'm so just so the cat's out of the bag. I am the more conservative brother. Right, I am the supporter of our president, of Donald Trump. You guys don't particularly, you respect him as the president.
I was gonna say I support the president. I mean, I'm not an anarchist.
You support the president.
I am also not an anarchist, for the record.
So
the duly elected leader of the United States of America.
But the reason why I wanted you guys here is because at the end of the day, we have very different political views, right? But there's certain things that we could all agree on, right? And at the end of the day, I think that the biggest thing that we have to agree on is this, that we can agree on, is first off, we're all Americans. We all have a vested interest in making sure that this thing, life in America, right, is going to be as good as it possibly can be for all people, all colors, all religions here in our country, right? So let's put everything else to the side. Let's put all that stuff to the side, and let's just focus on what do we do to make things better for those of us living in America, right? So my biggest concern personally is that if we continue to alienate ourselves, you know, Black American, Mexican American, Indian American, Asian American, if we continue to alienate ourselves and put ourselves in different subgroups and sub-people groups and categories, instead of all coming together, which I feel like as far as the establishment goes, the biggest fear that they have is us all coming together and saying, okay, no, you are not going to continue to over police us and make us fear for our lives every time you pull us over. Like, it's crazy. I sent you the video of the guy who was in the parking lot, Burger King parking lot, right? Kneeling next to the vehicle. Police roll up on him, right? This was, I want to say, a couple weeks ago, right? Police roll up on him. He had a gun on him, which open carry is allowed. They saw the gun. They asked him to take his gun out and put it on the ground, right? He's got his hands up, presented, they can see it, and we saw the whole video. He goes to reach for the gun and put it on the ground like they told him to. As soon as he touched the gun, shots fired, right? His dying words were what?
That's what you.
I was doing what you told me to do, right? I was doing what you told me to do. So how do we get to the place where we can I think Nick said it best yesterday when we were talking. He says we have to reduce the amount of encounters that people have with the police, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, that's the biggest issue that we have to deal with is why are the police involved in our lives so much? Why are we dealing with them as much as what we are dealing with them, right?
Right. I would agree. That's part of it. But I feel like there are, I don't want to particularly say that there are some encounters that are necessary. There are some police encounters that are necessary. I do, as much as I hate it, I think highway patrol, making sure that we're not speeding on the highways, like those people are necessary. Drunk drivers, keeping a tab on those people, they're necessary. But I think, like when I was on the East Coast, I lived in Camden, New Jersey. Wouldn't recommend visiting. But one of the most
Most dangerous places to live.
yeah, or so they say. I got out just fine. But one of the things that the mayor did was before Camden didn't have its own police force. So what they did was they would get police officers from other communities that would come into police Camden. And the issue that they had was a lot of these people in it's a poor area. The officers would treat most of the community like potential criminals. They saw a dramatic decrease in those numbers when they started their own police community, or police station, and started bringing the people from the community and training them to be police officers. So now when you see an officer, it's no longer, oh, that's a Camden police officer. It's like, oh, that's Nick from down the street. We play on the same basketball team. How you doing? And so you foster this. The person, either I love him,
Right,
or at least if I'm from this community, I feel some type of way about him, even if I don't know him personally. And I think it would do something to establish a personhood between police officers and citizens. It's just my thought.
I think that it would, we should do a better job of one of the issues that I've seen in this particular situation with Noor is that they talk about how it was so important to the mayor and to the police department to get Somali officers in the force that they were fast tracking people through the system to get them there. I find it incredibly. I mean, you served a little bit of time with the military, right? I mean, there are rules, right, of engagement, right? I mean, you can't just because that, and I know this sounds bad, right? But just because there are sometimes kids who have bombs strapped to themselves and throw themselves are put in a situation to hurt people, that doesn't mean you have the right to go and start shooting every 3-year-old you come in contact with. You'll be tried for war crimes in that situation, right? But I'm not buying this whole thing that, because this guy is a police officer, their job is that much more dangerous and that much harder than everybody else. Is it dangerous being a police officer? Sometimes it can be, right? But ain't nobody making you be a police officer though at the same time, right? I mean, you're not being forced to take that job. You took that job because you wanted to serve, hopefully for the right reasons, right? But you took that job. Now, you have every right to go home to your family and be safe and to make it home every night safely to your family, right? Well, guess what? I got the same right to go home safely to my family. Just because I get pulled over for speeding or with a taillight out doesn't mean that I should be, blasted because of it, right? But with that being said, I know there's a lot of other countries that don't necessarily police the way that we police here. I mean, but we're getting it worked out. We're trying to get it worked out anyway. But now, one of the things I got to take a second though. I got to talk about something though. So
I did it.
Yeah.
I done it now.
No. I gotta throw this cat, the baby brother under the bus, right?
You're gonna drive that bus.
Okay, I'm about to roll over. Okay, I'm about to roll over you. So check this out. So our little brother, had the nerve, the unmitigated gall to tell me that he thinks that Old Town Road is a country song.
Yes.
It is not. It is not. Don't you ever say that again.
The original
Well,
version.
technically,
See, I don't know.
technically, it's trap country.
But there's still country.
There's no such thing as trap.
Yes, it is.
Yes, there
It wasn't a
is.
such thing. It wasn't a such thing as rap music either. Until what was it? Kumo D decided to call it that.
Okay, no.
So the man said it's trap
Absolutely not.
country.
100%,
So it's trap country.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. No. I can't believe I'm related to you people. Absolutely
What do you
not.
mean, you people?
You people. I can say it. I can say it. I absolutely can say it. So right now, we're dealing with a lot of things. We're trying to figure out a whole lot of things in the chat. First off, guys, if you guys know this song, Old Town Road, it's 100%. It's rap.
It's hype.
It is rap. It is not
Fire.
country.
It says
It's
country as the
fire.
most modern
And it
country.
does-
Thank you. Reliving the dream. Thank you.
He
Loves Naruto. Kick him from the stream. Chill.
Bruh.
Don't
Naruto.
Don't even get me started on that.
Who
Bruh.
loves Naruto?
Bruh.
Naruto's a fantastic show.
Naruto's a fantastic show.
Man, get out of here, man. All right.
And notice I didn't say anime. I said show.
It's a show.
Dude.
Yeah, I mean, because Naruto is about as anime as
Don't say Dragon Ball Z. Don't.
I was gonna say Robotech.
No, Robotech's like old. That's like old. It's like old school actual animation. Like anime in Japanese language, anime is actually short for animation, but it doesn't translate the same way to English. So people say, "Oh, anime is just like animation. It's a cartoon." No, you're wrong.
Okay, so let's give you your weeb moment, little weeb brother. So
This is what I showed you.
so
Whoa, chill.
wow,
Most
wow.
countries
No, why would you assume? So you guys gonna assume that because he eats chicken, that he.
No. Was clarifying.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Our guy Naruto's garbage. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. So
He'd probably say Pokemon is his favorite anime. Next.
okay, so tell me, what is the greatest anime of all time?
I mean, it's
Be careful, because
that's like a loaded.
and
that's a loaded
Robotech
question.
is awesome. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Hunter x Hunter is the best TV. That's a good argument.
Who said Hunter? Somebody said Hunter?
Yeah, somebody Hunter x Hunter.
I do. Or
That's a
do.
good one. Hunter x Hunter is a good one. I mean, we're talking yesterday. Attack on Titan is really, really good. The first. That is because it's so in depth. I don't know. I really like. As far as new ones though, My Hero Academia is pretty good. It's a new one. We were just talking about this. I need to watch season 2 of One Punch Man. The season 1 of One Punch Man was amazing because he usually in shows, and especially in animes, it's like the strongest character trying to fight another strongest character. He's by far the strongest character in the universe.
Is that-
So
that
the show's
shows up?
about everything else besides the fighting, because fighting's just easy for him. So it's just from a different perspective. But
Okay.
the levels of that we don't have in our cartoons that we have. Like you cut on like Nickelodeon and stuff, you just see a bunch of like people making fart noises and like laughing. It's no depth whatsoever.
Okay, so the real question is, do you believe that Goku could defeat Superman?
Oof. All right, let me take a drink of water before we.
No,
we
come
get
on
into
now.
this,
Come
before
on
we get
now.
into This is a loaded question.
How is it a loaded question? You first,
So
legal man.
say it with the chest.
Do I think Goku could be? No. Who decides?
Superman is
Things
America.
that endear us to superheroes.
Superman was
are-
Donald Trump before Donald Trump.
Superman's he's not even human.
Superman.
If Donald Trump had a cape and was bulletproof, he'd be Superman. Be real careful what you say next.
I have to be. The things that endear us to superheroes are their flaws. Why do we like Tony Stark? Because
Goku.
Tony Stark is the arrogant, prideful person that he gets on everybody's nerves, but he's not. You know, we love him. You think about Spider-Man's thing is he's young. He's in the comic books anyway. He's kind of a dork, not very good with ladies, but he's Spider-Man. Superman, I got the perfect cowlick. I got abs of steel.
So I know
and by
Goku
the way,
would be a complete Republican.
By the way, I am invincible. Like, come on, that's the type of superhero Donald Trump would invent. So I absolutely abhor the idea of. I abhor everything that he stands for, and he's not American. He's not a human. So no.
Somebody said he's an illegal alien.
Yeah, Superman is. He is. He didn't have a green card. He's just like 21 Savage. Honestly, he acted like he's from here. Yes,
he's totally an illegal alien.
The thing is, though, it doesn't matter.
The atmosphere. That was the border he crossed. Yes, he did. I didn't see him come through a point of entry, a port of entry. Landed here, took advantage of a job. He took a job from a real American reporter.
He didn't hop over any border.
Yes, he did.
He didn't.
What's the biggest border? The atmosphere.
Doesn't the U.S. border go all the way to space?
All the way. Yes.
Man,
yes.
Okay, man. All right.
My guy.
Yeah, y'all about to get kicked out.
So hypothetically, what you're telling me is if I, hypothetically speaking, Elon Musk is my homeboy. He takes me up into SpaceX, flies me over Washington, D.C., and drops me there.
Okay, so
I'm not an illegal immigrant.
Okay, so first off, if you originated in space, then no, you're not an illegal alien. If you originated on the ground and then you go back up there, I don't care if you spend the next 20 years in space, where you originate is where you originate. Period. Point blank.
Right.
Secondly, Superman wasn't living in the shadows. Everybody knew Clark Kent
Not
was.
growing up.
But that's also not a prerequisite.
He didn't go by his real name. It sounds like a criminal.
Hey.
I could get behind that. Superman's a criminal. Superman is a criminal. Superman is a criminal.
Illegal tries to dethrone the government, tries to put distrust in the police
He
forces.
wasn't even employed properly. How did he get that job? He didn't have a social security number. He didn't have a social security number.
He wears glasses he doesn't even need.
He didn't need a social security number.
That's false impersonation, man. Come on.
Impersonation. I guarantee he wasn't using the same social security number as everybody else in the house. They weren't sharing one social security number.
They had to be. How else would he get that job?
Out of here, man. No green card. Superman needs to get out. Man,
Thank you.
Right. Hey,
He took her nerves.
No, you need to get. You said he what?
She said he took her nerves.
Dude.
Okay, wait a minute.
Any South Park fans out there, F's in the chat if you know what's up.
Okay, so exactly. Okay, fine. So who exactly do you send to apprehend Superman to send him back home?
Donald Trump.
Wow.
Because he is the greatest negotiator of all time.
He is the greatest negotiator. He is the greatest.
Negotiate a way to not only send Superman back.
Can I interject you a little bit? Okay, so earlier, we were kind of talking about how sometimes we might not disagree about certain things, but and we say, oh, you may support Trump. That is one thing that there are a lot of people, especially on Twitter, that they get this idea that we're talking about this, if Trump will say the sky is blue, oh no, it's not, just because he said something. It's gotten to the point that some people won't even give this man at least a compliment. And we've talked about this before.
Right.
Say what you want about his political argument, whatever. The man gets things done. How many presidents could have gone and actually sat down and talked to Kim Jong-un? Again, mind you, I'm not going to say I'm a Trump supporter, but you got to give credit where credit is due. And I feel like until people do that, we're going to constantly be in this Democrat versus Republican, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Fighting, but that's just my 2 cents.
That's very fair. All right, hey, that's very fair. I'll take that. We can start there.
Yeah.
I'll talk you into the voting for him between now and next year. But
I think he's already going to win, honestly.
Yeah.
Huh?
So yeah.
Well, I'd rather not vote than to vote for one of them frauds like Bernie Sanders. So, but anyway, do you honestly think that someone would actually vote for Bernie Sanders?
Oh, I went to a very liberal arts school. I know. I know a lot of people who vote for.
Why?
I thought you were gonna give me a hard question.
Why do you feel? What do you feel like? What is his draw?
in a utopic society, he is the ideal man. In my
Bernie Sanders?
No, I'm saying if everything was like if everything was how, if people didn't take advantage of situations, if we didn't live in a realistic world, if we lived in like a how to put this in words. He doesn't work for America. He wouldn't work for America. It's a good idea. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't work for America. It's like the same thing. A good example of that would be like the way unemployment is right now. I used to work at a bank. It used to burn me up all the time that people would come in there and cash in unemployment checks that were higher than my check. I'd meet people. They would tell me that I used to work, but then I realized I made more money with unemployment. They would tell me this as they were cashing their check. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that doesn't work. Unemployment is not working for how we have it set up. In an ideal situation in society, it will. People don't have a job, it supports them, they get off the bus, they go get a job. It doesn't work. Same with Bernie Sanders. In this society where unemployment would work and everything works all nicely, it's like it's always sunny outside and everything's just working, Bernie Sanders would be a perfect candidate. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in today. It doesn't. That's my thing. It sounds cool, but it's not practical. Just like the lady was talking about forgetting all that student loans. Like, oh, cool. Like, where's the money gonna come from? Oh, it'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah, that's typically where it all stops. Whenever you ask where's the money gonna come from, then it's like, yeah, we're pretty much done. So,
I feel it.
Huh?
Modern day Robin Hood.
Yeah. We're gonna modern day Robin Hood. Yeah. That's an old decrepit Robin Hood. Like no one would ever watch that movie. Like I'm sorry. Like
Bernie Sanders is Robin Hood?
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's what this person in the chat just said.
I'd watch a movie.
I think didn't they already make it was you weren't alive back then. It was called Weekend at Bernie's. Like it was a dead dude that they were like holding up, pretending like he was alive for like 2 weeks or whatever.
That would be Bernie Sanders.
That would be Bernie Sanders.
Like real quick, this person in the chat says it's like communism in general. Sounds great, but can never work in practice. I don't know if I'd go that far. It's more so in this practice. I think that the practice that we live in, that we call American, in our society, that his ideology, I don't think is good for us.
Okay, so with that being said, okay, you lived in China for quite a few years.
I lived in China about 2 years over there.
Name one thing, and I know this is we might get like completely disconnected. Well, name one thing that you actually like about communism.
I can name a lot of things, to be honest. For the record, I'm not a commie. I'm American. I love the United States of America.
Democracy.
God bless all. Anyway, one of the things that I would like is that in China, contrary to popular belief, that is the safest I've ever felt out in public by far. I've been to many different countries, and in China is the safest I've ever felt. That is the only country I've been to. It'll be like 3, 4, 5 a.m. and there's kids playing outside without their parents. And people just kind of going out and around. Now, that, again, perfect example. That sounds good. Awesome. I was there. This is awesome. Like, everything's all safe. But then I started thinking after I was there for a couple months, how did they get to that point? Okay. How they get to that point is if you do a certain crime and you do get in trouble for something, they make an example out of you rather quickly. So much so that in the Chinese government, if you get caught for something such like drug trafficking, they will take you to the mountain, put a bullet in your head, and your family will have to pay for that bullet. They will send your family a bill for one bullet. The price is not the problem, it's the practicality. That you're going to receive an envelope that's going to have the child, like somebody in your family's name on it, with a bill for you to pay. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you have things that high that if you do a crime, you're probably going to die for it. Well, then that's why you have kids outside playing around at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you know? So for me, being a visitor there, a tourist, if you will, for 2 years, not like assimilated completely in the society, for me, I'm like, cool, I could walk around all the time, you know what I'm saying? Don't have to worry about anybody trying to rob me or anything like that, so. Oh, Chengdu, yeah, I've been to Chengdu, bro. Chengdu's nice. That's where the Panda Reserve. I lived mainly in Chongqing, but I'd been all over China. Okay, so essentially, all of that to say, in China, the way that they curve, if I'm hearing this correctly, the way that they curve the crime rate is by making the penalty for the crime so incredibly high that people are like, nah, I'm not gonna die over this. Like, exactly.
I'm not gonna steal this iPod I'm sorry. They don't have make iPods anymore. I'm not going to steal this cell phone because I'll die for it, and it's not worth dying over an iPad.
$3.
And I can get a knockoff one for like $10, right? So essentially, is that what I'm hearing from you?
I'm not gonna claim to be like an expert on Chinese government, but like for the simple answer to that is yes, right? For instance, if you have situations in America that like if you got in like a fight with somebody in America and you both got arrested, cops will like hear you out, you know what I'm saying? To a certain extent, we have checks and balances. Say what you want about the society. We have a due process, okay? Communism, whatever they say goes. It happens like it's ridiculous how crazy they can roll out laws. It's just overnight, boom. That's how it is. Okay, and like everybody, that's how it's been for thousands and thousands of years, and people just go with it. It's crazy. Everybody just walking at the same pace, does the same thing all the time, so it works for them. But I don't know. It's mainly because the penalties for doing things are so high, kind of like you said.
But the primary issue I have with socialism, communism, the same issue is that what I find I think we've talked about this in the past, is that you have such a large. If your daddy was a noodle maker, you're going to be a noodle maker. Right. It strips the individuality from people in a lot of ways.
Right, but they also view life differently. That like most Americans to some extent view success as the American rat race, what we formerly called the American dream of always trying to get to another level. If you're born that if your dad was a noodle maker, but he was the best dang noodle maker on the block, and that was something you took to heart. And when you're little, all you wanted to do was to be the best noodle maker. So when you were just a noodle maker, for me, Americans were like, oh, that guy's just a noodle maker. But from their heads, they have pride in their roles. So whereas they can't move out of their roles, you don't have people, it's some kind of in their brain that they don't really need to get out of the roles. They're helping the big machine move, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I get that, but okay, so I can understand that side of it. The problem that I have is, in capitalism, with capitalism, well, the way it should work when the government is not overly invested in the day-to-day lives of its people, unfortunately, like ours is becoming, right? People have the ability to make a change in their life and to change their situation, right? I still feel like with all the places that I've been, all the countries that I've been to, that America is still the best thing going, right? As far as, that's my opinion. And perhaps maybe I'm a little biased because I love my country, but
it kind of depends what you got going on.
Well, because you can change your situation. Now, the problem that I have with our country is that there's different strokes for different folks, right? If you have enough money and you know the right people, you can get away with 16 indictment counts like a Jussie Smollett, right? You can go and you can fake a hate crime. You can go out and send things in the mail. Allegedly, sorry. Send things in the mail to yourself. Pretend to nobody's buying that crap. Like, you heard the story. Like, come on, man. Like, I live out in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota, right? It's cold here. You're not going to convince me that this black dude at 2:00 in the morning, when walking around in downtown Chicago at 20 below to get a dang sandwich. I'm not buying it. Not even on double coupon day, I'm not buying that. All right? So, but I don't believe that if I had done it, and I mean, can you imagine? Seriously though, did he really think about what could have been? I feel like as far as race relations go in this country right now, we're teetering. We are teetering. I feel like we are.
Can you elaborate on that?
Huh?
On the teetering. Can you elaborate on that?
I feel like one big event could push us into some kind of a race war. You don't believe it?
That's what they want you to think on the news, I think.
Seriously, you don't believe it?
Not one even. I don't think so.
Sure. I'm not gonna say that they're not racist. I'm not gonna say aren't some opportunity start shooting colored people. I'm sure those people are out there. But by and large, I feel not only do we have, shout out on my interracial baby. You got like what side of the war they got to fall. We also have a lot of allies, as I mean, if I can say it, there are a lot of non-black people.
Actually, no, you're not black.
I'm blackface.
No, absolutely not. No. So I'm sorry, I didn't bring you up to speed. My bad. So you're not down with the vernacular. So I'm not black, and I went to the store. I went to Sherman-Williams, right? We were painting the house, so I figured, let me find out exactly what color I am. I'm not black. I'm actually SandyBeige42. You're a little bit lighter than I am, so I think you're probably more like SB41, right? So, sorry. So now that we've established that, Mr. SandyBeige41, man, go ahead.
Sherwood Williams, find me. I choose my own color.
Somebody said you more like SandyBeige49. You must be coming through a lot darker.
Ouch.
Dang, you turned that contrast on the screen. IT man.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were saying that you were saying that you don't.
Oh yeah, I don't. Not only are we severely outnumbered.
They got more guns than we.
I feel like there are far too many white people that. I mean,
So you don't think we're teetering on a?
I don't think so, because there's a lot of white people. If there was a race war, there's a lot of white people that would take black people's side a lot more now in history than there would have been, say, if they were in like a Rodney King era. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the progressive thinking, especially people in my generation, to be more open to to different cultures and different in all parts of America. So I don't think so. I think that's kind of part of the whole fear factor that again, Trump has addressed this, how the media kind of plays behind the scenes and kind of make things seem more worse than they actually are. I think it's my opinion, I think it's a very far-fetched idea that we're one event from a race war.
We're closer to war.
Perhaps. I mean, that I don't think I would disagree with you on that. That's a different topic for a different time. But so let me ask you. As a self-proclaimed more left-leaning individual, right? I'm not gonna put words in your mouth. I don't want to put you out there, but as a more left-leaning individual, how much do you feel that your race holds you back on a day-to-day basis? Do you feel like your race holds you back from accomplishing the things you want to accomplish?
Oh no, not at all. But also, I have the luxury of being from a family and
family of means.
Our family.
Family got means.
Family got means. We got means.
That must have skipped a generation. That must have skipped the line.
You know how I know where family means? When somebody showed me or told me stamps, I was shocked because I thought food stamps were like postage stamps.
Well, back in the day, it was like colored money, but
sure. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I don't have to live in the environment to where my race would be. So yeah, to answer your question, no.
The way that I view it is, first of all, I would also say, kind of starting on what Christian says. At the same time, I view it as kind of like an X factor sometimes. Like I've definitely been in situations whether if I was in China or in America, when sometimes some people, not all people, when they see your color, whether that be black, white, brown, purple, whatever, they kind of put you in a box. It might not mean like a box is I'm not gonna talk to the person. It might just be a box where they expect that you played this certain sport, that you like this certain food or something like that. So it's just kind of interesting that when people put me in a box, it's just funny sometimes that I talk to them and you can just destroy their complete concept of that. It's funny. It's not just white people. Sometimes it's other people as well. Like I was in on the West Coast a couple weeks last week, and then there was a Chinese couple actually. They're on the escalator going above me, and their little kid was in the way, and we're all just like chilling, whatever. I was just kind of just hanging out, taking pictures and whatnot. And they dropped a teddy bear, and then the teddy bear fell on my foot, picked it up and gave it to it. And then the kid in Chinese said thank you to me. And then his parents turned like, this guy doesn't know how to speak Chinese. He's just it's a derogatory word for foreigners. It's called lawai. It's like a basically calling him like a dirty foreigner, like a unintelligent foreigner. And they said that. And in Chinese, I told them, I said, 我不是老外, 你是老外. And what that means is like, I'm not the stupid foreigner, you're the stupid foreigner. Because you know what? You're in America. So it's just funny. I wish I could have like a GoPro that would have just snapped the facial expression on this Chinese couple, okay? I'm about 6'1". This couple, they're probably about 5 feet. And then time just stood still. Except for we're on an escalator, so we're still moving up, and we just all just froze. And I just looked at her and I started smiling, and I said, "Aijian," and that's bye in Chinese, and then I just left. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. So like for me, it's one of those things that like I know that sometimes people look at me, they're gonna put me in a box. I don't use that as a crutch. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm black, I'm not gonna be able to do this. Okay, this person's almost like underestimating me. Again, that's not everybody, but you just sometimes it happens. So.
And that kind of brings full circle, right? I feel like I think differently. We think differently. But we can't really take credit for that, right? We can't take credit for that because that's not, we think differently because we were raised differently, right? I take exception to people attempting to say, oh, well, you poor guy because, you have darker skin and so therefore you are this or you're that. Our Father would never, ever allow us to use our race as a crutch, ever. Like that wasn't even thought to be.
I would go further. He wouldn't allow us to use anything in your life as a crutch. You know what I'm saying? Like if you see a weakness in your life, you work on it. You shouldn't view something as like, oh, that's how it is, and that's just how it's gonna be. Like no, that's how people never are able to work beyond their means. You know what I'm saying?
Let me address something. So whoever this is keeps on talking about black people going mass exodus back to Africa. We tried that. It was called Liberia. That didn't work too well. Black people are not leaving America to go back to Africa.
To be fair, I would much rather live in Europe than most of Africa, with Ghana and parts of North Africa being the exception. I don't really like 130 degrees every single day.
There's parts of Africa I don't mind. I mean,
I'd live in Wakanda.
Yeah, it's Wakanda. It's Wakanda an option.
Wakanda forever.
I'm saying, man.
It's Wakanda an option.
I'd pack up and move to Wakanda right now.
We would all move to Wakanda right now.
For sure. But I'd be a campaign manager for the Black Panther. Yo, we're going international, man.
Right? So that experiment kind of went south. I
didn't see the movie.
You didn't see Infinity War?
Yeah, but I'm assuming they're gonna bring everybody back. We're not gonna talk about it. We will not talk about it.
That wasn't Endgame. That was Infinity War.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of people
on Netflix.
I've seen Infinity War, but a lot of people died on Infinity War. I'm assuming he's gonna bring them back.
But that is one thing that I have to say about our Father. Our Father is not ever going to allow us to use anything as a crutch. If it's a weakness that you see within yourself, fix it, deal with it, and become better. But there was no excuses or reasons. I mean, he was an immigrant. I mean, he came here from legally.
Yeah, he came here legally.
Thank you very much. Came here legally.
We already told those problems.
All right. Lived off of bologna and
straight hustler.
And bologna and rice.
Paid for all of his school out of his pocket, working like 3 different jobs, no loans. Straight hustled.
So
got
you don't tell a man that paid for 6 years of college out of his own pocket and worked 4 jobs and through newspapers and ate
It still ended
bologna-
on the dean's list.
and
every
ate
year.
bologna and rice and made the dean's list on a yearly basis. Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can tell them about your struggles. So we didn't. Yeah, there was very little
My
sympathy
English
there.
teacher don't like me because I'm black.
So with that being said, there is an issue, I feel like, in America as far as young black kids, and I feel like that issue is got a lot to do with the fact that, like I mentioned last night, 75% of black children born today are born without fathers in the home. I cannot imagine.
Thanks, Ronald Reagan.
Huh?
Thanks, Ronald.
Thanks, who?
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan?
Yeah,
It had
man.
nothing to do with Ronald Reagan.
It's got
bro.
everything.
It had nothing to do with Ronald Reagan. That
Ronald
had
Reagan.
everything to do with Lyndon B. Johnson, not Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan brought crack to the streets, bro.
Crack wasn't the problem.
Yes, it is.
Welfare was the
Crack,
problem.
crack in the roar.
Welfare was the problem. These people literally went door to door telling people that, hey, if you do not have a man in the house, we will give you money to be able to stay, to be able to survive. They advertised the idea that if
Because
you
welfare's
do not have a man in your house, they incentivize people to not have fathers in the home. Please, okay, now we're not going there. 'Cause
these dads are
I will lose it today.
these dads are in jail.
I will lose in jail. Didn't nobody force them to sell crack, bro?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, so man, where is?
They was trying to help. They
I'm bringing.
excuses. They didn't want to make. They were trying to get it.
I'm bringing Daddy on the show. I'm bringing Daddy on the show because he is gonna fry you up.
Why?
So
Yeah,
you're gonna say,
Oh, he's on legal drugs.
I just want to. Oh wow.
okay,
Wow. Just because
okay, wait,
defined by the government.
Okay, wait a minute. Our father's a pharmacist. Let's.
Oh yeah, I guess that.
Yeah. Sorry, 3 black kids talking about.
Q, he's trying to trigger you. This guy learns fast.
That's not gonna go too far. Okay, so. Okay.
I gotta fit in one. Come on.
Ooh, hey,
Give me one.
Jay Venom, welfare incentivizes having kids out of wedlock.
It doesn't. It does incentivize having kids out of wedlock, right?
Yeah, because welfare pays for kids easily.
No, not really, but it does incentivize.
Oh, that was sarcasm.
I know, but bottom line is it takes the responsibility away from the man to have to provide for his family. Okay, it gives him an out. It gives him an out.
You gotta pay child support.
It gives him an out.
But it's that if you're
How's that working?
Because if your family is on and you gotta pay child support and you don't pay, now the county's coming after you.
Okay, so but how does that work? How does that work? We're at a place now where 75% of young black children are going to be born to single mothers. Okay, clearly the system is not, whatever it is, the system is not working. Right? I look back at how much different my life would have been, how much different your life would have been,
Absolutely.
without having a father in the household. Right? I tell everybody, my mother taught me how to be a good human being. My father taught me how to be a man, right? So with that being said, with what Daddy taught us and taught us how to live and how to respect, right? And how to show respect, could the rise of young black kids being raised without fathers, could that have something to do with the incarceration rate?
Yeah, for sure.
Could it have something to do with a lot of the deadly encounters that we see? And let's be fair. There is a larger group per capita of black people police today than whites, right?
A larger. Say it again. I'm sorry.
Black people in America
Like
are police. Have more encounters with the police per capita.
Yeah, definitely.
But they also commit, according to
Don't say they commit more.
according to the Crime Statistics Lab.
They're convicted of crimes at a higher rate. Yes, that is not they commit.
I feel like
that
is wow.
I'll be barred soon, America.
Okay. So
oh yeah. Also, Kim Kardashian, if you need passing the bar exam, like, something out, payments toward my, I make sure you pass the bar exam. It's California bar.
Okay, so all right, we can talk later. I want to have you on and talk about the prison system in America. I think that would be a fascinating
Prison
conversation, huh?
Prison industrial.
It is called the prison system. We're not going to go into all, but
Cheap.
Huh?
Cheap labor.
And we already have free education or free college tuition paid for in the United States. Serve 4 years in the military, you can get a GI Bill.
Good luck. That's all. Good luck.
Okay, what did he say? He said 13% of the population commits 50% of the murder.
Wrong.
Am I wrong, Q?
Wrong.
I will have to look at those statistics.
Wrong.
But yeah, I'm not gonna stick my neck out there on that. But I can say that statistically, 13% of the population commits more murder per capita. Yes, that is a true statement. There are more murders committed by people or black people in the United States than white people per capita.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and the biggest issue, as far as I'm concerned, is majority of those murders are committed on other black people.
Proximity, obviously.
Proximity, nothing, man.
Well, what are you talking about proximity? Nothing.
So by that argument, a white on white crime. Because did you know that white people kill more people?
Man, I was trying to
at an alarming rate. It is an epidemic.
Wait.
The national emergency.
I was going to try to be on my best behavior today.
I want to say how you say proximity doesn't.
Absolutely not. One of the things that Daddy always taught us was.
I'm talking about stats.
Listen. No, I'm going to get to that. I promise you I will answer your question. But one of the things that Daddy always taught us was when we were out in public, we never, ever mistreated each other because he would say, your last name represent that you do not mistreat your brother.
Right.
Okay? You cannot ask, and he wouldn't go so far as to say you can't expect someone else to treat your brother better than you.
Right.
So why can we expect other people to treat other black people better than we as a people treat ourselves and treat our own people?
I'm not going that far. Well, I'm not taking that direction. When I'm talking about proximity, all I'm simply saying is that there are definitely places that have larger areas of black people. That's what I'm talking about, proximity. So black on black crimes, if black people live around a lot more black people, I feel like there's a higher chance of if you're going to kill somebody, it's probably going to be a black person because that's who you see all the time. You know what I'm saying? If it's an all black neighborhood, who's the black person what are the chances of them killing the one white person in the neighborhood? You know, that's what I'm talking about, proximity. That's what I mean by proximity. Speaking to your nature, I think there's a lot of things that factor into that. I mean, there's also, if we could kind of take a step back, we see lack of a father figure. A lot of people have lack of a father figure. There also tends to be people, there's a better chance of them, in my opinion, growing up with not knowing truly how to respect authority. You know what I'm saying? So that's also one facet of what you're saying. Also what you're saying, but I don't think it's a large portion is because of that. I don't know, using our example is kind of a very specific example also. So.
Yeah.
And I think if we can, like I say, one more thing about it.
As long as it's not going to be liberal.
Chris, do you speak up a little bit? They're just saying you need to speak up.
Oh, my bad. But a big part of what that we haven't talked about is poverty. Usually crimes are committed by poor people, and you have a disproportionate number of poor people that happen to be people of color. And we were talking about how they were policed. It's legally, like if we're going to break down the law, there are that don't apply when police are in urban areas, apartment complexes, projects. that they could police not allowed the suburbs.
Okay.
And so I think that too factors into like the criminal convictions and prosecutions and stuff that we were talking about earlier.
One of the things I want to, guys, I'm so, I apologize. We just got Streamlabs up, and so there's some questions that have come through, so I want to make sure we get to those.
No, my father
some
did not come
statements.
from poverty, from a foreign country, but that didn't mean he come from poverty.
My father actually came from royalty, if you want to be real specific.
Facts.
But most people would consider it poverty. I mean,
No, no.
most
Poverty is based on what on that society.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
definitely.
I'm talking about once he got here.
He
yeah.
said he came from.
He was
When he was young, he was a broke college student. Yeah. If you're talking about in the home country, no. In America, he was broke. He was broke.
Yeah,
For
he
sure.
looked broke as a joke when he got here.
The thing is, like, you don't work 3 jobs and have money.
You don't do it because you want to. All right, so from John Luke Picard says, I see the Dastardly Q has a YouTube channel. What's wrong? You find messing with me and the Starship Enterprise to be boring? That is a Star Trek joke. You don't get it? And that was like anime before anime, man.
Bro,
Hey. All right, so MIBJ, Mr. Scott, MIBJ, Will Smith versus Superman. Jay will deport his ass with a bunch of kryptonite. P.S. Make blimpies great again. I'm with you on that.
I saw a Blimpies the other day. I freaked out because my wife had never heard of Blimpies.
Your wife never heard of blimpies? There's one not too far from here.
I can't remember where, but I stopped and I just what?
So
I'm about to cause a very, very uproar. I do not know what it is.
Man, you're fired.
So
You're
what is
fired.
It was Subway before.
I don't know.
I mean, it was like the set. It was 7-Eleven. They were always in, right?
I promise you guys, the next time I am close, I am going to go and get a Blimpies sub, and I'm taking it to Nick Rekieta, and we are going to do a live stream of Nick eating a cold cut from Blimpies, foot long. Promise you that.
Regarding the Superman thing, also a lot of people bring up like Superman as like the strongest Justice League member. It's like you guys never heard of like Batman's contingency plan. Anybody who's a hardcore superhero fan knows that in the comics, and they even made a couple episodes about this, Batman had a contingency plan. In his contingency plan, he had a way that he could take out and kill every single person in the Justice League, including Superman. So if Batman, who mind you has no powers except for money, which is a big power in America, but that's for a different episode. But for a person that had no powers, if he could kill them, who's to say that One Punch Man couldn't also kill him? Because literally there's a rock that everybody knows can kill Superman. One Punch Man has no weaknesses known to mankind.
But you all
Who guys?
Kryptonite.
Who is One Punch Man?
Go on Hulu.
That's the intro. That's literally the intro.
Go on Hulu.
Literally the intro. I think I nailed
Search
that.
One Punch and thank me. It's a fan. It is a twist on classical anime. I think it's called what's the anime we talk about? Boy trying to find his father.
It's I literally somebody typed it in the chat earlier, and I was like, I just thought about that. There's a term for it, yeah.
And it's like the opposite of the show starts. You get a look at.
Somebody says that One Punch Man can kill Superman.
Facts.
Yes, one punch man can kill.
Facts.
Because one punch trained so hard that he lost all his hair.
Yes.
And gained the ability to kill anybody. Punch. So much so to where he's depressed because he can't fight anybody. because
I'm sorry,
he
man. I
kills
can't get with the depressed
everybody.
superhero. Like, I
He's
can't
not a
get down
superhero.
with
He's
that.
not a superhero.
Oh, he's
He
not a
doesn't-
superhero.
I mean, he's
So
like
not even a superhero.
he doesn't.
He's a hero for fun.
Right. He doesn't want to be a superhero. But yeah, it's fantastic.
10 out of 10.
And he would deport Superman.
He would deport
With
Superman.
one-
You got one more time to talk about deporting Superman, bro. Like, I'm serious.
He
Like,
doesn't.
I'm gonna start a petition, man.
It's gonna be a
He-
problem.
His parents didn't even have him here, so.
It's totally gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a problem. Like, you don't deport Superman.
All I'm saying is there could have been some other American hero that could have been at the pinnacle or could have had that job as well, but Superman, if you will, that's his name here. What was his real name? Like Kal-El or something? That was his, yeah.
And y'all tripping. Oh, y'all on? Yeah, come on now.
Not to mention he ruined his own planet. He might be a terrorist.
Oh.
He might be.
Whoa.
His country, he wasn't a refugee. You know, they had a bunch of war and stuff over there. He actually brought it over here.
Seriously, no. Actually, he was a refugee.
No, he wasn't. He didn't come through a port of entry.
Yes.
He
Boom!
was a
He
refugee.
didn't come through a port
He
of
didn't come
entry.
to port of entry. No,
He's an illegal
no.
immigrant. He
No,
didn't
because
come- he didn't cross the
refugees should have
port of
nothing to hide, right?
Man.
Refugees should have nothing to hide.
He didn't come through a port.
He
Why was he a secret? Why was he a
He had to
secret?
come
Because he was
through a port
afraid.
of
If he didn't do anything
entry
wrong, he
and
wouldn't be
apply for
afraid.
asylum. He detained while we check your backstory, and then we might decide to let you.
Man.
Illegal immigrant.
If not for
Superman.
Superman, Lex Luthor would have been a truly productive citizen. Facts. He could have cured world hunger. But nah, instead he's fighting this dude in the cave over some
With his
political
underwear on his outside,
yeah.
man. That's how you know he
That's
was
public
an alien.
indecency. That should be against the law. But why doesn't he go to jail?
Man. Hey, man. Because you couldn't hold Superman in a jail. What jail could hold Superman?
And time has
Lex
taught us that
Luthor.
if we can't control
Lex
something,
Luthor.
we are to fear it.
Or get it on your side.
Yeah, or get it on your side.
Or get it on your side.
So, okay, so with all of this, I will give you guys that. So, making a full circle. So you were tying in the fact that you don't feel that your skin color has held you back, right? So what do you feel is the single biggest issue facing Black America today?
Loaded question.
Oh, don't you know that that's what I do? I ask. I mean, there's no sense in asking the easy questions. I'm not gonna softball it to you. I did.
Oh man, why can't you give me that one?
Because I think I already know you're gonna vote for that tired ass socialist.
Ernie?
Feel the burn.
Oh man, I've
say Kamala
never
Harris.
been to burn. I don't like Kamala. Prosecutor.
Well, technically, okay. So, real talk. My biggest issue with Kamala Harris is this: I hate fake people. I detest fake people.
Oh, you know talk about Tupac when she wasn't even in college
I'm not so much concerned with that. No,
Oh man,
but like, how do you throw
I saw
people?
that.
How do you throw? She threw people in jail for doing the very thing that she had been doing.
that's government. How many?
Yeah,
how many?
we-
How many?
I
No,
thought
no,
you
no,
were
no. I got a better
gonna-
one for you.
I thought you were gonna say something
How
surprising.
many pro-life Republicans are there that have paid for abortions?
Well, in that case, you've paid for abortions too with your tax dollars.
No. I mean,
choice.
have had a mistress and said, "Here's the abortion money." Under their pillow,
I
like
don't
a
know,
tooth
but
fairy.
if I find out, I won't vote for him.
I mean, I don't think they're in your.
I mean, if I found out, I wouldn't vote for him. But we do know that she slept her way to the top. We know that much.
Ooh.
Kamala Harris, she was sleeping with the mayor of San Francisco. That's been proven. They were having an affair, and that's how she got to the top.
Ouch! That's a bold indictment there, buddy.
It's not an indictment. It's in the papers. It's in the New York Times.
Oh, so now
Man, hey, if it's about Kamala Harris sleeping at the top, I believe that all day long. I believe what I want to believe.
Let me.
Okay, no.
So how much of the media do you believe?
Let's get. I believe all the messed up stuff about Kamala Harris and the rest of the deplorable bunch. So, all right, the biggest issue facing Black America today.
That would be heart disease.
Facts. You asked him. Wow.
So if we can get more black people on beta blockers.
No, we don't want to give money to the pharmaceutical industry. In all seriousness, I mean, there are a lot of issues. I mean, far be it from me, who, like I previously stated, I don't suffer from any of those issues. Far be it from me to say this is the biggest issue. So that's a tough question for me to ask. I think at the front of as visible, like the most visible issue to me, just how do I word this? Like unequal access. There are
Unequal access to what?
And that's I'm having trouble wording it. We could start with education first of all, because it's
like barriers to entry.
Thank you.
Barriers to entry to what? I mean, I'm not.
I'm flesh it out a little bit because it's. And again, I have to preface this by saying I don't think that these are issues strictly because people are black. I think the race issue and the class issue, because unfortunately, a large portion of the minority population is at or near the poverty line. And so these people live in typically inner city areas, is poor. The access to education is very poor.
Most of those inner city areas are run by Democrats.
Okay, but that's not my point. That's not my point.
I'm just point it out there.
And also, anyway, I'm not gonna go there. Anyway,
next time.
Right. Okay. So you've got your education issue, you got your healthcare issue, where a lot of these people can't afford healthcare, or you've got even just little things like you think of what it would take to say you need a new ID. Your ID is going to expire. Okay, well you have to get to the DMV. Well, I don't have a car. That's why I said ID instead of a driver's license. I've got to find a way to get to a bus or a train or whatever. Well,
oh my God! Please.
But I'm just what?
Are you really gonna go there?
Go where?
And talk about that we can't have because
I wasn't gonna touch voter ID. I was merely just speaking about as these mundane where people would say, just get on a bus or take an Uber or whatnot. There's like these small things that that's why I said that.
Bro, I just have a hard time like buying into that when I see dudes wearing $150 and $200 tennis shoes. I'm just being real with you. Like, I know people who claim to be flat broke, but they've got $3,000 worth of tennis shoes in their closet.
Right. Could they be better? Could a lot of people be better stewards of their money? Sure, but that wasn't the question. As far as
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be. I'm sorry. I don't mean to take your time.
Yeah,
you're claiming your time.
No Auntie Maxine slander now. But yeah, it's just I guess barriers to entry, like Justin said.
Okay, what do you think?
Oh man,
I looked on his test paper, stole his test answer.
For sure.
My feeling.
Well, think of it this way, okay? I'd compare it to the game of golf compared to the game of basketball. Okay, somebody wants to play somebody decides one day they want to play basketball. What do you need to play basketball? What's like the minimal things you need to play basketball? I'm talking like the physical objects that you need to basketball. You need a ball, you need a ball and a hoop. Okay,
right.
Compare that to somebody who wants to play golf
or lacrosse
or lacrosse or hockey, something like that. So I just compare it to like in order to do certain things, there's more things that you have to do. You know, and I will tell people this all the time. We're very fortunate for the things that we've been able to do. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter which color we are. We've been very, very fortunate to do some things. You know, but at the same time, I've seen how some people just aren't able to do that due to some barriers, and a lot of those barriers are tied up in money. Obviously, you can go deeper into that, like where's the money, what are they doing with their money, you know? But kind of Kirby said that's not the question, but a lot of it ties into money, you know. So
Okay, I get that. I personally feel like as people of color, and that what it kind of incorporates everybody, right? People of color. I feel like there's not a premium put on education in a lot of times, right?
That's America though.
No, that's not all Americans though. That's
no,
not.
I say that's all Americans. That's America. Look at how our teachers are paid. That right there. That tells you how much of a premium.
We can get into this.
I'm glad you guys say that. But we spend a lot more money on education in this country than most countries do.
I said paying teachers. I didn't say on education. Because when you say education, that includes principals.
I was gonna say, Alabama spent how much money into putting in their locker room. Technically, that's money on education.
That's education.
Okay, well that's a government issue. I think our biggest issue with education in this country is we need to get the National Education Association, the teachers union. We need to bust the union and get rid of that. The fact that you cannot, absolutely, 100%, the fact that you cannot get rid of piss poor teachers is the problem. The fact that you have teachers, in New York, for example, you have teachers that show up to work every single day that don't teach, but just show up and file papers, but they're paying them a salary, a teacher's salary. They're paying them for their health care, they're paying their pension and all that, because it is literally easier to have them keep showing up and not teaching than to try to fire them because of the issues they would have to deal with the unions. So that is poor stewardship, and unfortunately they're holding the kids hostage. It has been proven. It has been proven time and time again that just because they spend more money in a school district does not mean that the literacy rate is going to be higher or that those kids are going to be any better educated. So we could say pay the teachers more. I would say possibly we should pay teachers more. I'm not going to argue with that whole thing.
This is why I say if you were trying to if you want the best free agent, what do you tell them? Come play for my team because it's such a great thing to do. You're gonna shape our future. You're going to think about all the kids that are gonna love you. No, what do? You attract them with commas and zeros. That's how you get the best. So if you really want the teacher that's not going to sit on her butt and play Candy Crush all day, you pay them more.
So
and when you pay them more,
would you work harder for your boss if they paid you more?
That's not what I'm saying.
Would you do a better job tomorrow if they gave you a raise?
That's not
what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Listen. This is what I'm saying.
New talent, so to speak.
Is if my job paid more, somebody better than me might have that job.
That's sad, bro.
I say it like it is. That's what I'm saying. Is because when you offer more money, more people and better qualified people are going to go after that job. And I'd be a fool to not think that there are people that are better than me at a job. I would like to think that I'm the best out there, but I misspell words sometimes.
I think that Obama kind of hurt the kind of hurt the kids as well in making it harder for teachers to be able to kick problem students out of classrooms.
I'm talking about No Child Left Behind?
No, that was Bush. That was an absolute disaster, right? That whole No Child Left
another
Behind
good
thing.
one was like, yeah, it's great in theory, but then it was like,
yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things, but see, that's the issue that I have with this new crop of this new crop of politician, right? Because they've been essentially groomed to be politicians, right? But they haven't had a whole lot of experience in the world.
What new group?
This
You said they've been groomed for politics?
in the Ocasio-Cortezes of the world, right?
But she wasn't groomed for politics. She was a bartender.
We'll have a discussion about that another time.
Is this the deep state conversation again?
Of course, we're going to have the deep state conversation at some point.
So Hillary Clinton and her operatives infiltrated her bar and trained her.
I don't think it was
to where
Hillary Clinton.
she pulled off the biggest upset.
It was George Soros, not Hillary Clinton.
George Soros. Oh,
Come on, man, get it right.
I get them. I get the devils of the right wing confused sometimes. It's like Greek mythology.
The right wing. She's just Hillary Clinton's just a devil. Period. Out of the right
it's
wing.
It's like Greek mythology
everybody.
trying to keep them all straight.
Anyway, so we're not.
I still don't understand the hate that she gets. I mean, I
You
get.
understand the hate that Hillary Clinton gets?
No,
Oh.
AOC.
Oh.
I understand. I understand the Hillary Clinton. I get that.
I was gonna disown you.
Nah,
Okay. All right. Ooh wee. Okay. So, wow, that was almost really
crisis
bad.
averted.
A crisis averted,
Right.
man. Wow. I almost had one of those heart issues that you attribute to black people. So.
Man, that's real stuff.
Wait, would that be considered black on black crime?
Okay.
Questions we need answers.
The other thing we got to talk about real quick, guys. So since we still have people in the chat, so
AOC gets hate because she's hot. Facts.
what? Please, no. All right. So question for y'all. So yesterday, in the boobs and bachelor degrees,
You have my attention.
the boobs and bachelor degree video, I referred to you guys as my darkies. Out of the Darkness is the name of the show. We had to come up with a nice pet name for our group.
Hold on, I have to consult Al Sharpton to see if that's racist or not.
I referred to you as my darkies. My wife was kind of upset by that. She explained that you guys are no longer darkies because we are out of the darkness. So I guess you're my whiteys instead of my darkies. So I need
I'm trying
you
to
to
decide if
tell
I'm
me.
offended or not.
Or
I don't think I am.
And
But
the liberals' heads
give me
explode.
about 5 minutes.
So the question would be: are you the darkies? Are you the whiteys? Or are you guys the SandyBeige42 gang? So we're gonna have a poll. We're gonna do this the American way. SandyBeige42 people, lighties.
The ladies. Wow.
The lighting.
Ladies.
The lighties.
Jason Ash gets a mod.
You're
Mod that
out.
man.
You're out of the darkness.
You're out of the darkness.
Yo, lighties.
Yo, lighties. Okay,
Wow.
so lighties is getting some love. So, Mr. Producer, can you the squinters? The beigies. Oh, it's kind of like the beigies. Never mind. That's too.
Oh, no, I
wow,
got
I'm really
the Bee Gees.
dating myself.
The Bee Gees. I took pop music in America for
know
a
the
J
Bee
turn.
Gees?
Yeah, I heard of the Bee Gees. I couldn't name a song, but they were in the same era as like
Right,
when it was cool to do the double E's after your name. Around that time frame.
Sure.
All right.
Sure. Yeah. Well, absolutely.
See?
Absolutely. So, lighties for the win, my dude. Nah, man. We got how many people in this chat? We're not gonna just give it away that easy. What do you think this is? The real American way. Every vote counts.
To
Everybody
a
gets to vote.
completely fixed vote.
So, all right. So, but I actually want you here.
That's good.
Stop it. I actually want you here on Sunday because we're actually going to do a live chat with Tim Miller again.
That guy.
That's the plan for now. And we actually are going to talk about the education system the rural education system versus the inner city education system, and how that and
Just those two?
What?
Just those.
We're going to talk about all of them, but I mean, urban versus suburban. Okay, and we'll go there.
Wow, somebody said,
Huh?
can we be the Sammy Sosas because that's dark to light?
Nah.
So is the Michael Jackson. So you guys can be the Jackson
Or
Five.
the Nicki Minaj's. Nobody's saying nothing about that. Speaking of which, you know who I'm gonna bring up.
Who are you gonna bring up?
Cardi
B.
Okay, come on, man.
Cardi B needs to be canceled.
Why does Cardi B need to be canceled?
Good evening, America. This is Justin. Justin, why do you think Cardi B needs to be canceled?
I have no idea.
Well, OG Rulo here is going to tell you why Cardi B needs to be canceled, okay? Are you aware of that video that surfaced of
I
her?
am. I'm quite aware.
Okay?
Doesn't your wife?
That's
isn't
why
your
I'm not
wife like a
arguing.
huge Cardi
That's why
B
I'm not
fan?
arguing.
That right there. Okay, for those who aren't familiar with this, Cardi B is a female hip hop artist. We'll put it as that. We're not gonna say anything with talent or whatnot. She's a hip hop artist. Okay. Video came out what she admitted to while she was a stripper before she became a hip hop artist, to admittedly drugging and raping guys and stealing their stuff while they were passed out on these drugs and running away with this. She had admitted to this. With all the things going on in pop culture, this should be a very open and closed case in my opinion. I do not get how people are standing up for her. I don't get how people are even in her corner. I don't get. This is like on the level of Bill Cosby, in my opinion. This should be like done. She should be done. I'm talking like government intervention. Like
Are you really saying you put Cardi B and Bill Cosby on the same level?
I mean, if anything, she's more bold. She doubled down on it. When asked about it, she doubled down on it. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Like, no remorse. She's like, yeah, it happened. Tough times, blah, blah, blah. So what? So times are tough, so you start raping people and taking their stuff?
No, but with that can you imagine if Bill Cosby would have used that as a defense? Well, it was tough times. Ouch! Can you imagine? Or R. Kelly?
Oof.
It was tough times.
So you don't know me. I mean, I was in the hood. It's hard every day for girls to make it out of here. It's like, so you're gonna just start raping people. Like,
I just did what I had to do.
You're gonna start taking their chains. Come on now. That's low scum. I mean, I was like indifferent about it. I was like, whatever. She's made her way to the top. After hearing that, I was like, nah, she needs to be canceled. That's a double standard if I've ever seen one.
For me.
Double standard if I've ever seen one.
Ouch.
It's ridiculous to me.
Ouch.
Yes. Oof.
So we are to that point in the conversation where to give the lip naming contest. So Christian, essentially, can you get me the winner? And so we want to make sure we congratulate them properly. So there's been a lot of talk about my lips and the size of my lips and being swollen, right? And so I figured, hey, at this point, rather than I've named every except for my lips. Don't ask, don't tell.
TMI.
Right? So what we've done is I told the folks that the Patreon donation get the name my lips. So it was a hard fought battle. A lot of people jumped on the to get the opportunity to name my lips. And I'm kind of scared. Something like that open ended to the internet.
Right.
You get what you get.
It's gonna be like filed somewhere, where they have legal naming rights to your lips, or is this just kind of?
He has gonna tattoo.
I think we're actually gonna make some. Merch. So Jay of the lip name contest. And okay, so in all fairness, it was only my top lip that got to be named, but he actually went so far as to name both of them, top and bottom. So
Give him an inch.
top name, give him an inch to take a mile, right? So the top lip is Ignoratio, and the bottom lip is Ilinchi.
Are these like? I feel like I should know these names.
Oh,
Oh,
so ignorance of the issue is. I
Jay,
thought we were cool.
my man.
Hey, nah, man. Yeah, so full legal naming right and a lip certificate. Yeah, and you know what? Absolutely, I'll give you guys the opportunity, naming rights to name Nick Paquetta's nose. Absolutely. Oh. So, all right. So, guys, I want to thank both the two of my brothers for being here. I appreciate you guys coming out.
It was a good time.
It was great getting a chance to get to know you guys. We will not. It's going to be, but we'll still do it respectfully. Still family, still love. But it's always good.
Superman's still illegal.
Huh?
Superman's still an illegal.
Superman is not an illegal immigrant.
Hey, he's a terrorist.
You and I are going to box after this. You're going to sell tickets on the interwebs. So, all right. So, unfortunately, my siblings have some radical views, but we're not going to allow that to deter us. So, once again, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for taking the time to visit with us. We're very much looking forward to having you guys back later on this week. We will be uploading more. We will be uploading content this week. Guys, we put out Patreon. Thank you guys for those. We ask you guys continue to support us and continue to partner with us as we continue to make more content and deliver it to you. We are going to also continue to work on our boomer tech and get this technology as fine streamed and as we possibly can. So we will continue to get better and better. But we thank you guys for being so patient with us. So thank you for that. But as we move forward, guys, you guys have a wonderful night. Have a great evening. We will be back soon for sure. We'll be back this weekend. And remember, come out of the darkness and make America great again.